Oh, Charles,
Yes, sir.
Charles,
Yes, sir.
it's hump day, bro. It's Wednesday. Aloha Wednesday, everybody.
Well, yes. Aloha no. Aloha no.
Been a long week, and it's only halfway there.
Yep. Yep.
Only halfway
Uh,
there.
it's one of
But
those days where you kind of wonder, wow, man, what's happening? Yeah.
yeah, it's like it's every day is the same. It's like waking up yesterday or the day before. You watch the news. It's like watching yesterday or the day before. It's just amazing how this state has really come to a stop as it relates to COVID. Just let it go. Let it go. Melon Charlie. Hi, Melon Charlie. I love that. I love that. The melon. That would be me, and that would be you, Charlie.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's. I was thinking about what we're going to do tonight. I figured, you know what? Let's go back to where we started. Let's go back to informing and educating. Let's go back and uh, talk story about one thing that is very evident in this pandemic. If you're in Hawaii, and from what I'm hearing, uh, on our clubhouse that I jump in on a few rooms, we're not alone, man.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's like all over. It's the same thing. Not everywhere. I cannot say that because there are some jurisdictions that have placed the health and safety of their people up on top. There's a few, but for the most part, it's the one thing that I find the common denominator, Charlie. And correct me if I'm wrong, viewers. It's um, confusion, confusion as it relates to. Oh my goodness, Bernard Cavallo is calling me right now. Chair, hold on. Hang on. Hey, Bernard.
Hello, can you talk now?
I just started my show, my friend, with with,
Okay,
with
so
with all of our villagers. Did you want to say? Do you want to say hi to the villagers there, Bernard, real quick while we?
yeah, can I just say aloha to everybody and thank you
Absolutely,
for all the
Charlie. Can you hear him?
Yes, I can hear you. How are you, Bernard?
hello.
Yeah,
Yeah.
go ahead. Go ahead, Bernard. They can hear you and they are listening.
Just aloha to everybody, and I'm so thankful my family, and I'm so thankful for all the prayers and for the love and aloha. I don't know how else to just say thank you. A big mahalo for all the prayers because there's the whole medical side which was exceptional, but the spiritual side had to resonate and rise above everything else. And I truly believe that's helping our daughter and help her get through this along with her little one. So just thank you so much. I don't know what else to say, but I go on my knees and thank everybody for their love and aloha. And I believe she's going to come home soon and we're going to be a strong family and just praising and just thanking and loving everybody for your thoughts and continuous prayers. Thank you so much, Mel.
Bernard, thank you very much for calling. I will call you back after the show. Are you still on Oahu?
No, I got home and I'm gonna go back, but I just got home
Okay.
yesterday and then reshuffle. But um, can you talk afterwards?
Yes, I will call you, Bernard. I will call you as soon as we finish our show.
So something happened, Mel. That I anyway. I can tell you after the show. Then.
Yeah, I will. I'll talk to you right after the show. Immediately after, I'll give you a buzz. Okay. Okay, man. I love you, man. Take care. God bless. Bye bye. All right. There. That was Bernard. As you can see, he's back home, but still shaking up. Uh, and I know you all heard him. And I think for Charlie and I, we on special bond with Bernard. It is truly like a brotherly bond. Me and Bernard, well, I was on the council and he was in the mayor. We had our battles, but we never gave up our friendship and our love for each other. Never. Till today. Till today. And
Mel, why don't you do this,
yeah,
Mel?
I was just gonna ask Charlie,
Yeah,
if I just if
I'll
I
take over. Go talk
right
to him,
on, man.
and
Thank you, bro.
I will.
Thank you.
He needs to talk to you right now, and I'll stay with
Yeah,
I'll stay with the villagers if they don't
right
mind.
on, man. No,
I hope you villagers don't mind that, but Uncle Charlie will fill in the gap right now, and our thoughts and prayers go to the big man Bernard Cavallo and the rest of his family, Regina and the Ohana. Uh, you know, it, it's been trying times, ladies and gentlemen, but I have to say that for the most part, all of you have been very have been very strong, have been staying the course. I know tonight someone had asked, "Is Kai coming on?" No, he couldn't come on tonight, but he will be on Friday. Friday, okay. So we're going to be talking to Kai about the Red Hill incident, and there's still some things that kind of baffle me about the Navy and their thoughts about with regards to defueling their tanks. I mean, that should have been a you know you know what that should have been a no-brainer. That should have been a no-brainer. So I just want to let you know that we're going to talk to Kai on Friday. Someone had asked, what am I experiencing at the airport? I can say this much: there has been a downturn. I mean, it's pretty evident. There's been a drastic downturn in visitor counts because of COVID nationwide. So for those who have elected not to come in right now, mahalo for caring for the people of Hawaii, because as you can see now, our some have felt that, hey, we get plenty bed space, but as you can see, it's not like that anymore. It's filling up. So now it's sort of like taking a number and having to wait in line. What will be taken first? Will it be those who don't have COVID or those who have COVID? And when you're ill, a medical facility is not discriminating. It has to take whoever comes through those doors first. So all we can do is continue prayers for those who get sick and need medical attention, as well as those surgeries that have been put off, as well as those surgeries that have been put off. So again, if you just joined us now, Mel Raposo, my other half in crime of the Mel and Charlie show, was contacted by former mayor and a good brother, Bernard Cavallo. And as you know, we continue to pray for his daughter, Brittany, who has been afflicted by COVID and who's in Honolulu, an ICU unit. And he gave us a little update, but he needed to talk to Mel. And so that's the reason why I am nervously taking over at this point. And it's hard to how should I say, because there's a lot of emotions going through my mind right now. Because if you got to know Mayor Cavallo Bernard the way I have since moving to Kauai, he's I thought I was a big teddy bear, but he's an even bigger teddy bear. And I know he loves his ohana, his children so much. And to be in this position, it's a tough thing. But his spirits up. He's thankful for the many prayers that came across uh, the airwaves that's been sent out to his ohana. I continue to ask, please, 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 let's continue to make it go. Okay, let's continue to pray, and also let's include those uh, whoever is out there that's afflicted by this devastating pandemic. Who would have thought it'll turn into this? Just when we thought we were turning the corner, bingo, something just out of the blue came and just sideswiped all of us. And so now it's even more important that we get vaccinated. For those of you that can, now I understand there's two sides of the issue. Yes, there's two sides of the issue. So I'm not going to be here bashing one side and I take the other. I'm just saying, whichever side you're on, please be safe. Please be safe. But let's talk about what's been happening with our state. I know if Mel was on right now, the cuss words would be flying and everything else would be flying off of his lips. And I'll be just sitting back and going, oh, okay, I'm along for the ride. I will say this. I know many times I, I, I felt as if I was going to lose my temper. But, I've always been told by the missus, people know you, they've seen you on stage before, they've seen how you are, and they know you always keep your composure. So if you have to, bite your tongue and just keep your composure. And I said, yeah, I'll be doing that. So let's first things first. I see the comments, I'm reading as we're going along. Yes, morale. If you know people that are using cloth masks, it's pretty evidence. The recent studies have shown that the cloth mask will not do the trick. Okay. You got to try to get the N95. There's a new flip model N95 that just came up by 3M, disposable. All you do, you pull it apart, it covers perfectly, and it's a little different from the original N95 that stays molded to your face. This thing really hunkers down and really. So I have a tendency of using that during the daytime when I'm at the airport. I'll use that with a KN95. So if you out there have one or can get a hold of one, and it's really inexpensive if you go on Amazon, and the supplies are unlimited, because when I went on, normally it will tell you whether the supplies are running out, and right now it's not running out at all. So my suggestion is to please go and get yourself one. Two, testing is dwindling. I know on Oahu they're still going strong, but I know in some other areas it's kind of dwindling down. So it's getting tighter and tighter. And we talked about Binex Now and Flowflex, those home kits. If you can get a hold of them, there's two per unit, and they run about $17-18. If you can get some, uh, just you go ahead and get some and just keep it on standby. Take it with you when you go to work. If you feel like you may have gotten too close and the situation was unavoidable, excuse yourself to the restroom, take that rapid test and try to find out what you've got. Okay. And if you don't have anything, then count your blessings. But again, we all have to try our best, right? We all have to try our best to stay safe. So let me get back to the state. It's getting pretty confusing what they're asking of us. Okay. We heard a lot of hogwash and a lot of garbage, about what's been happening. And, right now we're just monitoring the situation. Right now we had another 3,000 plus day today. And so, what is there to monitor? Does anybody out there know? What is there to monitor? Yes, Dana, Queens did declare a state of emergency. Queens West did declare emergency. Now, the emergency comes from all different angles. Okay, one is the amount of beds that will be taken up. Two is whether or not you have the staffing to take care of the people who are sick. I mean, that is the simple and plain truth of it all. I mean, you can pack everybody into a building you want, but if you don't have enough workers to tend to those individuals you packed into the building, it means nothing. It means nothing. You look at the mainland right now, beds are being overrun. They got people in hallways. And this was like when the pandemic first broke out, people were in the hallways. And we're back to that again. So I asked the state of Hawaii, What are you gonna do? We've been on this road of we're monitoring. Oh no, we're not gonna put any restrictions because it's you, the people. You have to be responsible. The reason why we put restrictions is because sometimes responsible people don't want to be responsible. So you got to be able to corral everybody in and say, okay, you want to play this game? Here, I'm going to jerk your chain, one hard one, so you wake up. And that's not happening as, also. So what can I say? How you doing, Brother Mel? How's everything?
Doing good, man. Doing good, man. Thanks for taking over the helm.
Well, the ship is still floating, never sink yet. So, okay.
Bernard uh, Bernard is again very appreciative. You know, very a man of faith, a man of God, and all the religions came together as they always do, and prayer and pray and pray and pray. We pray. We all prayed. The village prayed, and Brittany is stable. Baby's fine. But Bernard just wanted to. I have been, communicating with him in the last couple of days. I wasn't able to contact him, and I figured, no news is good news, and
Let,
he was
let,
just
let
very.
me kind of jump in real fast. I want to catch this, okay? And I hope you don't mind. I apologize, Mel. But
No,
when I
go
say
ahead, go ahead.
something breaking really quickly, Dana, you're right. Queens Punch Bowl declared a state of emergency. That's a level one trauma center in the Pacific. For them to declare an emergency, it is bad. It is bad. It is.
Yeah. I don't know, Charlie. I don't know how. And again, it's like I keep saying the same thing
Mhm.
every single show that we do. Um, I reach out to people that I think can make a difference, asking them to help. I don't, for the life of me, cannot understand why our state is just sitting back and allowing this virus to just rage through our community, through our state. For the life of
Well,
me,
you look at the comment right there by our one of our villagers, Susan Pereira. She hit the nail on the head. Our government didn't learn from a year or so ago. That is so true. We were in the midst, our Okole was puckering like this. You think we would have learned? Far from it. Far from it.
um, I did want to say now that we got everybody on.
Yeah.
Congressman Kai Kahele will be on Friday night.
Yeah, I let them know. I let them know.
Okay, good, good.
Yep.
And then on Monday night we'll have the nursing union, Hawaii Nurses Association, HNA's president Daniel Ross,
Mhm.
and then I want to bring on Dr. Miskovich again next week. Probably Dr. Akiona, Dr. Capono.
Mhm.
Dr. Miskovich shared with us some studies today, fresh studies that just came out about the long haul effect. And I'm only going to be very brief because I'm going to let Dr. Miskovich. The bottom line is this: two separate studies that are showing that people that survived COVID but didn't go into hospitals, they were studied, and what they're finding now is these people are having long haul symptoms such as mobility issues. They're having a difficult time with their mobility. The other study is showing that these same type of patients, right?
Mhm.
They survived COVID, and but they didn't get hospitalized. Are developing kidney issues. And I bring that up is because I am really exhausted and disgusted with our leaders that constantly, and I'm sorry if you already covered this, Charlie, but constantly bring up the mildness of the Omicron. Um, you just heard Bernard. You just heard Bernard. I mean, his daughter is really fighting for her life. And how can people say that? How can people, any human being, say that this is just the flu, like the flu? Those people honestly have a problem. And I know some of my friends, good friends, we have that debate all the time. And I'm thinking, what the hell is wrong with you? What part of And if you don't want to believe the studies that are done on thousands of people somewhere else, listen to the local stories. Listen to the local stories. And that should make it quite clear that this is nothing to mess around with. Nothing to mess around with. So I'm excited that Kai will be on. I know Kai will be definitely talking about the school situation. We'll definitely be talking about safe travels. I'm sure we'll be talking about Red Hill. But I really want to start. And tonight, what I wanted to do is just share a little bit about what the government is telling us because it's confusing.
Right.
See, you know,
Well,
it's in football, Charlie, you get one play, right? You have a play, but there's different components to the play, right? So you're an offensive line coach, they coach up the line. You get the running backs coach, they coach up the running backs. You
mhm,
have the wide receiver coaches, you have the special teams coach, you have a defensive coach, you have the defensive back coach. And but when it's time to for the game, all of those guys got to come together and play the same play. You see, in our state, you have the governor, who's the supposedly like the coach, and you have the Department of Health, you have the Department of Education, you have all these, then you have the mayors, and then all of these things.
mhm.
But the play is not the same play. Everybody is playing to a separate play. That's why we cannot win. That's why we're losing this war on COVID. And I'll give you an example. I mean, right here, I get two different sets of rules, one for the state and one for DOE. Why can't we have one set? See, COVID doesn't give a shit if you're a student, a teacher, a police officer, a fireman, a retiree, an infant. It doesn't care. So why is there a separate set of rules for students and teachers, and then a separate rule for everyone else? I don't understand. It's plain ignorance. It's plain stupidity. Yeah, I think it's negligence. I think it's criminal. So why can't we come up with one statewide isolation quarantine policy for everybody? Because COVID affects everybody in the same way. I don't get it. And it's all these jackasses. I watch this. I don't know why I punish myself, Charlie, and watch these clowns on TV. I watched Hayashi yesterday. I want to be the governor for a day. Charlie, can you make me governor for the day? Just one, in fact, 4 hours.
Okay. Let me get my special one. Ping! You're a governor for the day.
I would fire them all, every one of them. I mean, and then see, this is the thing too now. So everybody shows up for the game. Your quarterback, your line, your receivers, your DBs, your defensive line, your special team. But the coach no stay. The coach is in a locker room playing with himself and expecting all these different components to come together without any leadership. That's what we have right now. That is exactly what we have right now. And I will elect you. You need to run for office. Yeah, I tell you, yesterday I had a little moment where I thought, you know what? I bet if I ran for governor, I'd have a damn good chance. But then I got real and said, no, go drink some more coffee because you're getting stupid. But seriously, why isn't there a statewide plan for something as generic as testing, as isolation and quarantine? Why? Does COVID treat kids differently? No. And as we see the amount of kids get you Charlie, I'm sure you're hearing it. You probably have a lot of employees that work for you that have kids in school.
Oh, I got employees right now that have children in school that have to take off from work. That there's always this domino effect, right? Because we're seeing it happening across the entire United States. Because of COVID, people get sick. You don't have enough truck drivers. Without enough truck drivers that can take supplies to the harbors, not enough dock workers to load the supplies onto the ships, and the list goes on and on and on. Guess who suffers in the end? Everybody. But pay close attention to us that live in the middle of the ocean, right in the a small little speck in the middle of the ocean. We can't get supplies coming in. You know, even with what I've seen, I walked into um, a store that supplies groceries and stuff, you know, here on Kauai, to see the shelves bare. I mean, it's frightening. You know, it has that Armageddon feel to everything.
Yeah.
So I want to say this, okay? And I hope, and I'm reading the comments at the same time. I want people to think of this. The government is playing, they think that they're going to play the safe route, and that is leave everything open so we can keep our economy up. That's what they're doing. But they forget that mechanism to leave the economy open and running, that mechanism needs people. Now you've got COVID and you've got Omicron and you've got Delta. It's affecting those people. When that people to leave the economy open starts to dwindle, guess what happens? It doesn't function anymore. And that's what's happening right now. I, like many other businesses out there, are vying for the same bodies to employ. And people are throwing tons of money at people just to get them to come to work. But people are smart enough to say, you know what? Well, that might be tempting. I cannot take a chance because I take care of my grandparents. I take care of my parents and their elders. We can't, you know, where I'm working right now is manageable because I don't come into too much in contact with that much people. Therefore, I know the possibility of bringing something home is less. Now you take something like mine. I haven't used. I went through, one of those big bottles of Purell hand sanitizers. In the
Mhm.
last 2 weeks, I went through 3 large bottles myself, and that's scary. And we're running out. But now, I got me those gallon size from CVS, and I'm using those because you just cannot take a chance. So, the government starts to think that, we got to leave the economy open. I get it. But all we've asked from day one, Mel, and you said it, and you said this many times on this show, we're not asking you to close on everything to run us broke. We're asking you, state of Hawaii, do it safely, right? That's all we've been saying. Put some restrictions. That we didn't say put all restrictions, but for crying out loud, if you want to control this damn thing, then do your part so we can get one upper edge on it, and so we can hold it down. Do you think they did that? No. Now this damn thing is busting out of control, and what they're all hiding in their closet, going, "Shit, what did we do?" That's right. When it's all said and done, I hope you in high places realize that when a life is lost that could have been prevented by taking better action than what you've taken now, it's on your conscience. And I'm just making it known verbally right now, it's on your conscience. And people out there, don't let them ever forget that because they could have done something and they didn't. And if they did, man, they must have been magicians because the sleight of hands, I saw a lot of hands moving, but nothing happening. So, hey, maybe it happened that way. But anyway, sorry for one of the few times I lost my temper there.
No, I've thought about actually prodding you so that the village can actually see the real Charlie Iona. But you know what, Charlie? I think it's best that they believe that you're the mellow one and I'm the crazy one. Even though in reality it's the opposite. But let them believe that. That's cool. I'm perfectly fine with that.
Okay.
I do want to. I really want to take this opportunity, and what COVID has done to me, and it's not that it's made me a softer person, but I think it's part of depression where you start getting emotional more than you would, pre-pandemic. I mean, I'm an emotional guy. I've said it before. I cry watching my wife's Hallmark movies. I cry when I watch the movie Rocky, the boxing movie. I cry when I love Adrian. I did it. I cry. It's just me, and I ain't ashamed of it. So
Mm.
I hate to get deep into something on the show because I really don't want to break down and start crying. But I did want to say this, Charlie, because I've been noticing some posts,
Mhm.
not so much on the healthcare industry. I have not seen anyone uh, post anything negative about healthcare. We know, and we know, Charlie, because we have so many of our villagers that are in healthcare that confide in us. they tell us things that really they cannot share, and it breaks my heart just to think how how rough an environment they are living in every single day and every single night.
Mhm.
They go to work. They are in a dangerous environment. They have absolutely no support. And we're going to hear more on Monday when Daniel Ross is on here. So I just want the nurses, the healthcare workers, the staffers, the support crews to understand that as far as the village is concerned, in fact, when I emailed Daniel Ross today, I said, my heart aches for you
Yeah.
folks. It really does. When I think about Charlie, you was a cop. You know, there were times that bad situations, whatever it was just, it was just you felt like you were alone. You felt that you didn't have support from your government. Um, Politics play a role in a lot of things, and you just feel helpless. But you still go to work, Charlie. You still put on that badge and that gun, and you go do your job. And I
Yeah.
think these nurses, these doctors, these support people are going work every day, trying to keep people alive, trying to save people, and they get is, oh yeah, we're getting 200 more nurses coming in from the mainland, like that's the silver bullet. Well, it's not the silver bullet, because more employees gonna get sick. These people that come from the mainland, what are they immune?
Mhm.
No, they're gonna get sick. And they hide behind these little bullshit solutions. It drives me nuts. The other segment that I wanted to talk about tonight was the school teachers, because today I saw some posts that I thought was kind of raw, like, oh well, they get paid well. Oh, they only work so many hours a day. Oh, they get summer vacations off. Excuse me, these teachers, while they're not treating sick people, they're treating our kids. They're basically raising our kids. They're educating our kids. We put our kids' lives in their hands every day we send them off to school. And when I see those kinds of comments about, like teachers are second class citizens, that they're trying to take advantage. Oh, do they get paid when they out sick? Well, what's it to you? I don't give a damn if they get paid or not. Listen, they are responsible for getting our kids educated, and we have absolutely given them no support. Zero. In fact, we are pushing them farther into the brush fire. We are shoving them in the brush fire. So put yourself in a teacher's place. Teachers are different. They're different people. And if you have never sat in a classroom with kids
Mhm.
as a teacher, you really have no room to talk. Zero. Because you have no idea what goes on. So these teachers are going. Some of them get the notification, hey, you're exposed. You got to stay home. They cannot go do what they want to do. They cannot do what they love, and they cannot go back to their kids in school. And now we got to pop a substitute teacher on now, who's there basically to watch and really not do much. I am my heart aches for them as well, because they are not getting the support that they need. In fact, we are tossing more on them. We are putting more opala on their shoulders that they got to live with and they got to deal with. And all they want to do is teach our kids. I had a call today from a dad. I don't know him. He got my number from a council member. Said you need to talk to Mel Raposo. Like, really? I don't have any power, guys. But this is about a school, Waimea Canyon, about the protocols. The objective for our teachers is keeping our kids apart so they don't spread this virus. Well, apparently, the policy at Waimea Canyon is in the morning, all the kids go into this little this outdoor gym with a roof. And he sent me a picture that he took. These kids are crammed into this little outdoor court like sardines. Now, I cannot share the photo because it's obviously kids. But I look at that and I'm thinking, what the hell are you guys doing? Also sent to me was the the state's protocol for the DOE as it relates to our kids. That violates it. And it's a lot, the story is a lot longer. I'm not going to waste your time, but well, my point is this, is these teachers are in a position where they really have no choice, and they're seeing their kids, they have a seating chart, and you come to school the next day and you notice there's a bunch of empty seats. Well, you can put two and two together and figure out that, guess what, they're sick, they're positive. And yet when you listen to our state, they will tell you that there is no evidence of spread in schools, that the protocols in schools are safe. That's horse shit. That is horse shit. I mean, if that was the case, our legislature would be open, our county councils would be open. If you cannot spread the virus in a closed quarters like a classroom, then you sure as hell ain't gonna spread it in a council meeting or in a legislative hearing. And that is the double talk, the hypocrisy that is going on right now in our state, and no one is questioning it. No one is questioning it. It is, Charlie. It's I don't know. I don't think I've ever seen anything like it. I really haven't seen anything like it. You know.
Well,
Today they arrested the 3 people in Honolulu for the corruption, right? You watch tomorrow the legislature. You're gonna hear some people jumping up about that. But for some reason, Charlie, and I'm gonna find out. I am going to find out. And I know I upset a lot of my friends at the legislature and at the county councils in the different counties, but guys, I'm just being real. Correct me, someone, please. Any one of our villagers that are in any of the islands, give me a name of someone that is standing up for our nurses and our doctors and our healthcare workers and our teachers and our students and our staff at the schools. Please tell me so we can recognize that person here on our show, because I haven't.
I'd like to address something said by David. Is it Setlow? And you're absolutely right, Dave. Okay, you're absolutely right. We've been saying it from way before, and it continues on. Here's what I gathered, Mel, in a nutshell. And as you know, my usually when I speak, I'll speak for a short period of time. They call it bursts of anger.
Yeah, we're getting there, village. We're getting there. We're gonna see him blow his gasket pretty soon.
Bursts of anger, but yet long lengths of recovery. That's the way I look at it. If this state wants to avoid a lockdown, you don't do it by letting things go hog wild right now. Because when you get to that point, when you see like, oh crap, I gotta shut everything down. That's what we're trying to avoid. You avoid a lockdown by putting test measures in place now. That means every ship that's coming in fact, I don't know why you're allowing ships to come in the first damn place. They're coming in. And what even pisses me off, well, I'm not pissed off. I just
Come on, Charlie. Come on, Charlie.
I'm not going to get pissed off about that. What I am somewhat disappointed, well, hell, shit, I'm pissed off. They're coming in here, right? And they're making like it's their God given right to come here, knowing that they come in here with infected people, right? Now, that's the ships, because why? Someone put it in the CEO's minds of these big floating containers that, hey, because you're on the water for so many days, consider that the quarantine because nobody else could touch you. Okay, so when that boat docks, why are you still infected? You dummies. Now you get airplanes, it's a different story. Because nobody gonna talk boo-hoo crap whether you sick or not. So that's the reason why we gotta set up that frontline defense. What's so hard about going back to how it was and let the people test as they come in off, right? Or put tests in place for if they want to come to visit our beautiful island. And this goes for all the islands because I say Hawaii is Hawaii. Whether you're Kauai or Oahu, the big island of Hawaii, or Maui, you gotta preserve what you get left. Because if we don't, we're gonna be left with Opala and plenty. I hate to say it, plenty deaths if we're not careful. And that's the thing that really is bugging me to no end. Because it's like saying, if they wanted to form, that posse comitatus, right? You can self defend yourself. You put up your militia, right? What's the use of having us defend ourselves from foreign invasion if you're telling us that it's okay to hold a gun, it's just that you cannot use it? The hell with you? We're getting attacked. This damn virus is attacking us right now. Yeah? The damn virus is attacking us right now. Why aren't we using the skills and the knowledge that we know works? Why aren't we putting it to work right now? Why is this state? You got so much shibai going on. Get people in high places. They come on TV. They talk a lot of this, a lot of lip service. It's like they're ventriloquists. They're talking bull crap, but yet you got different words coming out on the left and on the right. I just don't get it, Mel. But just remember this now, Mel. I did not go over the threshold on the Richter scale. I stayed below. So I'll let you take it over the top. How's that?
But Charlie, I wish I could answer your question, man. I mean, that's what I don't get. That's what baffles me.
Yeah.
I was in politics 12 years, and I mean, I've never seen a politician sit back and not say nothing, right? Because most issues, you get two sides to every issue. But in this case, the side for health and safety, no more money, right? We not the big donors, right? We're not the travel industry. We're not the business, the chambers of commerce. We're not. If this pandemic taught us anything, it's no elect people that can focus on business over health and safety. A lot of people think, and this is a prime example, and I've heard it so many times when I was in office. You guys got to start running the office, the county like a business. You see, this is what happens when you run a government like a business. You put business first. See, in some cases, you cannot run a government, a county, or a state like a business. You cannot, because we don't rely on spreadsheets to make decisions, because some decisions involve health and safety, such as the example I used to always use at the county when people would come up and say, you guys better start running this like a business. Really? Then we need to shut down the Hanalei fire station and police station because the call volume doesn't really justify the expenditure. See, that's if you run it by spreadsheets. But no, you cannot do that because we got to provide the services to the people. I don't care if it's one person or two people live out there, right? There's a bridge that services 3 houses, and it has damage, and you got to go spend $300,000 to fix it. Is that cost effective? No. If you had a business, you would go and do some temporary fixes so they can get in and out. But as a county, no, you got to go and fix it to standard, cost money. So anybody that comes up and says, and this is a clue or a hint for the next election, people come up and say, we got to really start paying more attention to business. We got to really start. Yeah, Blangiardi, great example. He's all busy, great CEO. But you cannot have corporate policy for government actions and government services. You need government public policy. You know what public policy is? It is, hey, Kaika Anderson is on. Aloha, my man. You public policy means what is the benefit to all, not a special interest. And that's what happens when you elect people that are business people that's going to focus on the business industry, and they're going to put the people on the back burner. That's what we're seeing right now. And if this is not a prime example, then I guess you need to get some glasses, because this is a glaring example of what happens. Public policy is exactly that. It's getting the input from the community, from the public, and making decisions that's going to benefit the majority of the people that you serve. So I don't know. This baffles me. It completely, Charlie, and this is going to be my last question for now. And
You
you're
sure?
the governor. You're the governor. Yeah, for now. I said for now. You're the governor.
Okay.
You just found $1 extra billion,
Mm-hmm.
and you're telling the legislature, I'm gonna put that in a rainy day fund, people. A rainy day fund. 1 billion with a B. I want to put that in a rainy day fund. You know, we get people that are out of work. We get people that are sick. We get people that need some help. And he's talking about putting money away. Like again, that's CEO mentality. Public policy would dictate that you would take those funds and you would use that to help the people that are in need right now. That's public policy.
Well,
So
there's two things that's I would say there's two things that's happening right now. If you're in government, and if I was governor, if you have to raise the white flag and call a defeat, I'd rather be transparent and say, hey, you know what? I did a lousy thing. I mean, I'm gonna need help because there's no way we can pull ourselves out of this one. I would rather do that than going down the trail of being one shibai and putting false statements on the air just to buy time. Because I don't care what happened. If the inevitable is gonna happen, I rather know now so I can get myself ready. I can get. I mean, don't we do that when we got we got a hurricane that's looming out in the Pacific, moving towards the Hawaiian Islands? Aren't we told to get ourselves ready? It's a Category 5. Be prepared. And what happens? Everybody goes and get ready, right? This one, they're not telling anybody to get ready. All they're telling is, just get your vaccination and weather the storm. They're not telling you. Okay, we're learning it the hard way. They're not telling you that, oh, based on our calculations, the hospitals will be overrun within a month. Okay, within a month, I had surgery scheduled that I have been putting off for the last year. I can't put it off any longer. You know, I think I got to get in there. Are you telling me that I won't have space? And you know when something is really bad is when if you should ask your own physician, oh, can we speed up the process? And they tell you, oh no, we only got this available time. Why? I mean, I didn't know my life wasn't worth that much to maybe just allow me the opportunity to go in a little sooner. So that is what is really really disheartening now. Now I'm pretty sure it's just what I just said. It lines up to everything what you said. You're a little bit more pissed off than me. But anyway, that's beside the point.
no, the thing is, again, I've seen politics. I've worked in politics, and I've seen
Right.
politics when you debating whether or not you should put up a wooden bridge or a cement bridge, or if you should do a 1 lane road or a 2 lane road. You know what? That to me is that's politics. You debate and blah blah blah. But when I've never seen when the health and safety of the community is involved. I have never seen uh,
Complete
this
quiet.
happen. Yeah,
Complete.
it's like no one's saying nothing.
Yeah.
Everybody's afraid that if they come up and tell the governor, what are you doing? How come you? Then they're gonna get the pressure from the money. I have every time we've ever had a crisis, whatever it was, all 7 council members came together on Kauai. And it was very obvious that all 7 council members, whether we agreed or disagreed on many other issues, it didn't matter. When there was an issue that pertained to the health and safety, everyone came together and stood up for what was right for the community, health and safety wise. I don't. It's totally gone. I don't. There's nothing, and I don't know what else we need to do to get them off their asses. That's what I don't get, Charlie. See, if we were talking about TAT, the transit accommodation tax, if we did a show on TAT, I would be getting a call from several legislators. Now, why you never call us? Well, blah blah blah. What questions you get? But no, I have not received one call at all from the day we started talking about this recent crisis. None, zero. And we've put out the pressure. I mean, they all follow my page, Charlie. They all follow your page. They all watch this show. They may not watch live, but they all watch. Do this tonight. Before when we power, you go look how much views we get tonight, and then tomorrow morning when you wake up, go look how many views we get. Village, you'll see they all watch after we live. They know what we're talking about. They know what the people are saying. I mean, all of the experts are saying the same thing. All of the experts are saying the same thing. So it's to me, I honestly believe that the governor gave them the gag order, said, "You guys speak up. I ain't giving you guys money. I'm not approving your projects for your districts and your islands and whatever." I honestly believe that's what has happened, because never have I seen all representatives, all senators, all council members, all mayors just say, "Fripp, done. We will not buck the system." And that is why people are getting sick, and that is why people are dying, and that is why this virus is going to win, and we're going to see a lot more people getting sick. And that's, to me, that's not cool. That is definitely not cool. I want to say a real quick shout out to Bozu Anama. Bozu, welcome. I don't believe, maybe you've been on before, but these things scroll so quick. I miss you. I just saw you on tonight. We spoke of Bozu while he was on a ventilator, while he was in a coma. You don't know this, obviously, Bozu, because you was unconscious. But he suffered COVID, and I thank God. We prayed for you, as we did for Brittany, and Bozu is still suffering from the long haul. He does Facebook Lives. If you guys want to go check him out, Bozu Anama. Follow him on Facebook. He does some really cute, funny Facebook Lives. He did one the other day at Ala Park eating his spam, egg, and rice plate from McDonald's. But so happy to see you on the show, buddy. I do want to put out a call out to any of the long haulers out there. I want to do a special show with long haulers. So if you're interested, just shoot me a message. I really want to get all of you. I love you too, buddy. Bozo, man, you touch a lot of people's heart. And I won't say it because you posted it. Bozo was not vaccinated. But as soon as he came around and he was able to do his lives, he told people, go get vaccinated. You do not want this. Uh, I honestly thought that we were going to lose Bozo. Um, I really did. And God is good. And I'm glad he's back. So if you're interested, hey, shoot me a message. Russell Izumo, another one. I had a long talk with him today too, Charlie. He's been on our show. He still suffers from long haul. He still suffered from long haul. So yeah, we do want to get you guys on, and I want you guys to share your stories with our village, because I think it's important. Because a lot of people, they don't talk about that. No one talks about it. Not leaders don't talk about that.
I want to compare something, if I may. Uh, it's very hard for me to talk about COVID in the sense that I had a brother that passed away from it. That's the extent of my knowledge when it comes to getting emotionally involved. But as time went on, I started to pick up a little bit more, a little bit more, a little bit more. And like anything else, if there's any of you out there, family members who has a family member who had been in law enforcement, our way of thinking is just not the average way uh, that people think, right? It's we're always looking for connections. We're always trying to connect the dots. That's the way an investigator will always think. Because you have this burning desire to solve whatever you're working, whatever type of crime you're working. You have that burning desire to want to solve that crime. You don't want to let it go from your hands and pass on to the next shift. It normally doesn't go that way. What I'm experiencing in when I hear about long haulers or I hear about people that are afflicted, I can only relate to them what I experienced when I had open heart surgery. And that is, when I woke up, I was taken back by the amount of care I had, because I never thought I would get that much care. That only gave me an indication, because I got to, you have to go to therapy and you have to walk around. Because if you don't walk, that's the downfall. That's when your body's going to spiral downwards. When I started to walk at Queens and I started to look around and I saw the amount of care compared to some of the other rooms, that's what led me to ask my cardiologist and my cardiac surgeon, hey, since I'm out of surgery and was I really that bad? Was I really that bad? And the first thing they said is, you're basically a walking dead person. So when I assimilate that to COVID and those who have gone over that threshold to get back themselves out of that COVID realm. That takes a lot. And I don't think there's people out there that understand. So the reason I brought up that investigator side of it is I'm trying to link how survival becomes so precious at this time. While we're here talking about how to stay safe, you know that we're having people just trying to get a little amount of air into their lungs, and they're fighting to do that. Because I see some comments that still yet, but you got to put yourself in their shoes. And I know you can't because you haven't been down that road yet. And like I said, I haven't. And the closest thing I came to death was having my chest cracked open, having black and blues on both sides of my body, having my grandchildren. I'll never put my grandchildren through that again. For them to come and visit me in the hospital, they cried and cried and cried, and they never forgot about it. And still to this day, they'll come up to me as old as they are. They'll hug me and cry because they said they almost lost their papa. So, with COVID, you tell yourself when somebody gets really sick, is it fair for the survivors? The pain and anguish they got to go through to see that person sick. That's why we're here on this show trying to educate people. Don't get to that point. If there's a concert coming up, why is it so important that you got to go to that concert? Why is it so important that you got to take a trip right now? Okay? We've made it this far. Why is there so much impatience that we say, you know what? We had it. We're going to live our life. Yeah, I'm telling you, go live your life. But for crying out loud, do it in a safe way. That's why I said, for once in my life, I am truly blessed that I can be antisocial because I believe that's what's keeping me safe. Being antisocial means I'm keeping my distance. Before everybody who knows me, I was one to give you a hug and welcome this and that. Now I don't even do that. I get many good friends. Like they say, when you don't know where they've been, you have to assume the worst. And that's why you keep them far from you. Okay?
You know, um, we losing the battle, right? The I talked about this before, when we had the war, with the Gulf War, when the first few troops, soldiers, airmen died. Big stories in the paper, newspaper. I mean, pictures, wives. They talked of their families and the losses, and then as more people died, it just became a little screenshot on the news. Oh, we lost 12 more soldiers today in a bombing in Afghanistan or Iraq, and all of a sudden it was so desensitized that it was just numbers. And it's the same has happened with COVID, unless you are the victim, the patient. And what you just touched on, Charlie, which is so true. One of our good friends, Kathy Simao, passed away, COVID. She lost her mom the week before COVID. So they had the services last weekend. So I don't go to funerals, but Patsy made some dessert. So we went early and dropped them off. And as I drove up and I saw the family members, it doesn't end with the person that dies from COVID. The grieving, the life changes that occur with our good brother in blue, our police officer friend, Dave Bankwell, left a family behind. COVID. You don't see that in the news, in the statistics. Well, when you start minimizing, it's so disrespectful, I think, when the state tries to minimize the impacts of this virus by saying, oh, not as many hospitalizations as we did in the peak of Delta. What are you trying to say, you stupid? what are you trying to say? That they're trying to say that, trying to convince us that we're in a good place, and we know we're not. Months ago, I said, and I posted this, and I said, when the governor and Blangiardi was talking about opening up, this was back in December or late November, and I posted, I said, be careful what you ask for, people, because when we open up, there will be consequences. And I had no idea what the consequences would be, but I did know this: once we opened up, cases would increase, because that's just the way this virus works. And sure enough, I'm not Nostradamus. I just have common sense, and I can look at trends, and I can see that if this is what the outcome was the last time, then this is probably was going to be the outcome this time. And sure enough, and it's actually worse. We're getting more people sick, and they keep trying to say that it's less people going to the hospital, but they don't talk about the long haul. They don't talk about the kids that may test positive today, get a little bit of sniffling and cough or whatever, and then they get better and they go back to school. And then 6 months, 8 months, a year, 2 years from now, they start developing these problems within their bodies because of this virus. They don't. That's not part of their message. Their message is it's all great. When the lieutenant governor says we should see this thing peak out in the next month or so, whatever he said, what the hell is he watching? Who is he listening to? Apparently,
Nostradamus.
he's not listening to anybody that has a brain. He's just listening to like Blangiardi. He no more shame, right? His advisors are all CEOs. At least I give him that. He get the balls to come up there with his corporate CEOs and tell the world that that's who he listens to. So you got to give him that. But I cannot imagine how, as a human being, not as a mayor, not as a governor, but as a human being that should have compassion for your fellow man, how can you not see what's happening? That's to me the disservice that is happening, and that's what I tell you is causing or has caused unnecessary illness and death. Many families lost loved ones because the way our state handled this pandemic, and that you know that's just the reality of it. And we'll see what happens with this. But, Charlie, I did want to go over and I'll do this really, really briefly.
Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead.
I wanted to make sure I've been getting a lot of questions about isolation because it changes. But I wanted to start off with the county released for Kauai anyway, the guidance for testing. When do you test? See, what's happening now is no more enough tests and no more enough testing sites. So everybody, 3-4 hours is common to get a test. So they came out with this. I think they're trying to get people to not go wait in line if you don't need to. But so if you have been exposed to if you were exposed and you're experiencing symptoms, get a test if you can easily do so. You cannot easily do so because you need an appointment. You got to wait in line. If you can't get easily tested, assume that you have COVID even without getting a test. If this pertains to you, please follow the guidelines and isolate for 5 days if your fever is gone and symptoms are improving, or up to 10 days if the fever persists. So that's what the county is saying. If you're feeling sick and have access to a home test kit, take the home test because it's accurate, it's reliable. And then again, if it's negative, you should repeat the home test in a couple of days. Again.
Okay, remember now. Okay, when they ask you to repeat the test, folks, no use the same test kit now.
Yeah.
You may get the same results.
If you test positive, you do not need to get another test because doing so does not change what you need to do. You still got to isolate and so forth. Anyway, that was just for the county. But this is where I wanted to get, because this is where I think the confusion happens. The state has an isolation quarantine policy. They just reduced it. So if you're COVID positive, if you test positive, regardless of vaccination status, isolate for 5 days, at least 5 days, and until your symptoms are gone. And continue. This is what gets me. Continue to wear a mask for 5 days after isolation. So does that mean after 5 days of isolation, you don't need to wear a mask? I thought we always had to wear a mask. Anyway, so if you test positive, 5 days, and then you're okay. Unbelievable. If exposed, if you're boosted or fully vaccinated, you don't need to quarantine. Go back out and spread the aloha to more people.
Brother,
Because
remember when he first started? Remember when he first started? We was talking about, hey, you gotta wear masks. But when you're in public, no need to wear masks until you get within 6 feet. Remember what the whole thing?
Yeah.
So,
How far you stay?
Yeah, how many guys walk around with a 6-foot ruler in front of them? Like a big ding ding pointing forward until you come in with 6 foot range. Hold it, put on your mask. You pass. Oh, okay. Take off the mask.
You know, it goes back and just the confusion is insane. So it tells you you got to wear a mask for 5 days. Okay, so on day 6 I can take them off. Come on. So again, boosted or fully vaccinated, which means 6 months after your last shot. No need to quarantine. You go out and have a good time. Now, if you're not boosted or fully vaccinated, then you need to quarantine for 5 days, wear a mask for 5 days afterwards, and you got to get tested on day 5. This is the state's revised statutes or law rules. It's incredible. So, what if you cannot get tested on day 5? Again, the testing is not something you can just go to the store and, if you're lucky, you can get the test. But it's not. What gets me though is if you're vaccinated and you're boosted, you don't need quarantine. You just go back. That's why, and you wonder why we get such high numbers, Charlie.
No.
So not a school.
Just imagine when this thing all started. Is some greedy bastard just had to have a bat for lunch.
Yeah. Thank you, you dumb bat eater. So for the DOH, I mean for the DOE now, and this is I know I've been getting a lot of questions about the DOE. So if you test positive, you or the students or staff, or you have COVID symptoms. Now, what's the COVID symptom, Charlie? You catch cold, you got one runny nose. That's a COVID symptom. Anyway, you should isolate for 5 days, regardless of your vaccination status. That is why our teachers are all gone. That's why there's no teachers in schools because they're home sick. They can return only after 5 days have passed, no fever for 24 hours, and your symptoms have improved. Charlie, improved. Okay, so if you have symptoms, you gotta isolate for 5 days. If your symptoms have improved, what the hell does that mean? So if I get 2 gala nose,
Now you only
if
get one
I,
dollar
if I
dollar.
only get 1 gala nose, then it's improving. That means I can go back. I don't get it. Now, anyway, so if you have become in close contact as at school as a student or a staff, you gotta quarantine for 5 days if you have not completed your shots and you're over 18. But if you have your shots, so now you get confirmed as a close contact, right? If you're vaccinated and boosted,
Hey, wait, let me
you
ask
go,
you. You
you
got
go
this
right.
off of the state website. This what you telling me right now? Huh? Okay, I know. I gotta tell you this. Believe it or not, today when I was using the restroom, I swear somebody I saw that page. Somebody would use them as toilet paper.
Yeah, that's what I'm gonna use them for. That's what I'm gonna use them for. So now it is not in dispute. There is no dispute that vaccinated and boosted people can catch and spread the virus. So if you got exposed, and we know how contagious this is, but you're boosted and you're vaccinated, you don't quarantine. You go straight back to school, so you can spread them to another child or another teacher or another staffer. That is why people are confused, Charlie, and it's different from the regular everybody else from the DOE. I don't get it. I do not get it. And how? What do you tell the parents? I mean, and what do you tell the parents?
Hey Mel,
I I don't know.
I'm gonna tell you this, and I love George White. He said, "Holy crap, Batman! Uncle Charlie is on fire." Thank you,
Yeah,
George.
but I wanted him to get mad. I don't like him get funny. I mean,
Oh,
I like to see him get mad, George. I want to see him get mad.
just what you read. Just what you
No,
read. No, no,
but
just
the
what you
bottom
read.
line,
Now, this is it.
yeah,
Just what you read. Reminds me of us rookies when we first became policemen, especially when you're from Oahu and you on cop on Maui. You don't know Maui that well, right? And the
Mhm.
first day you're let loose, you go on your own, you get your own beat, and you come across some tourists and they ask you, yeah, how can you get to Kihei? And you're trying to be educated, and this is how you tell them, okay, you need to go on this highway, okay? When you go all the way down at the traffic light where the left turn is, but that's not the turn you take. You go back to the next one, and then you make a right turn. That can take you towards Lahaina, and you'll come all the way back to the lower road because right now the bridge stay out. But if you come back up, the original left turn, I told you for turn, but not to turn. If you went down there, you would get to Kihei much faster. That's how you explain things. What you just read to me, that's the same thing. And that's the reason why I'm laughing.
Well,
Because, I'll tell you right
uh,
now, I am confused with what you just read. So just imagine those who out there really trying to follow along with that. That is so damn confusing. Couldn't it have made it? There you go, folks. What did I tell you about anger? Right on the air. There you go. There you go. And you're right, Mel. You hit the nail right on the kini popo, right
yeah,
on the head.
yeah, it's unfortunate. And there is absolutely no light at the end of the tunnel, zero. And we try to be positive, we try to be optimistic, we try to, we try we it would be a disservice if we came on and lied to you folks and said that everything's good, we're in a good place, we're in a great place. No, because we're not. And I'm hearing from teachers, I'm hearing from medical people,
Mhm.
uh, it is crashing and burning. No, I didn't waste my toilet paper. I've made it in pieces where I can actually use it now. It's in squares. It's in squares. The big pepper too big, so I made them in squares. So now I can use them for. That'll last me a couple of dumps. Anyway, um, it wouldn't be uh, right for us to play their game and try to convince people that we're in. And we're not here to fearmonger either. We're here to tell you what we know from people that are in the trenches, that are working this every day, that are watching people um, die. Heidi says, Mel, can you explain why the courts and legislative sessions are closed? Courts are open. Courts have never closed. I know this because my wife works at the court. She has never had a. Uh,
Day off.
they have not stopped working. Jury trials have been postponed, but all the judge trials, all the other civil cases, everything else is they have never closed. But the legislative sessions and the councils, that I spoke of that earlier. Um, is it because they're more important? Because the way they said, this is what the state said for the legislature. Due to the rising cases of Omicron, we cannot open our legislature. Now, can you imagine if they just had switched the word legislature with schools? Due to the rising cases of Omicron, we are going to allow our schools to be open. Hypocrisy. It's, I don't know if they believe their lives are worth more because they're elected. That's absolutely not true.
Yep.
So,
Yep.
yeah, that's a great question that no media has ever asked. No media. They all ask the questions that they already know the answers to. Although I got to say, Ryan and Yunji on the Star Advertiser Spotlight have come a long way, and I think George will agree. They have started to ask the tough questions, and I really appreciate them for doing that.
Yep. Yep.
Well, Charles, damn it, man, it's 8:09.
Oh, thank you for. I needed that laugh, bro. I needed. I needed. I needed.
Yeah,
Well,
I mean, I think that I think we gotta buckle loose sometimes, and
I almost got
and
there. I almost got there, but I just I had the reins pulled back a little. Whoa, Nelly. Didn't want to go over the edge. Maybe one day I will. Hey, but let me ask you something, Mel. I know you've seen this before. You see some people, they have COPD, right?
Mhm.
And you see how they get like that pigeon chest and they're just struggling to breathe, but yet they're
Yeah,
doing their. Just imagine people with COVID. That's how they are. The
yeah,
real serious one. All, and it's
you
just
know,
like it sounds like they're gonna take their last breath, and it's just a spooky thought.
yeah. I think about that a lot. I remember when my daughter was sick, and it's not like we could. communicate, and I worried about that so much. And I remember um, one of her friends brought her over well, we ordered we purchased the oximeter or whatever, and
Right.
I was constantly asking her, what's your oxygen level? 93, 92, 91. And I'm thinking, this is just not gonna, this is not good.
Got to
This
get
is
it
not
up there.
good.
Yeah.
Um, and I just think of all those people that are home, that are alone, that, because obviously you're isolated or you live alone. And I think of my good friend, the police officer who did not survive. He was home alone and couldn't get the help he needed. You see, that's Charlie. And maybe we here, all of us in the village, we know, because we think about those things. And I know some people said, "Hey, you guys obsessed with this, and you guys gotta take a break." Well, we do. We take a break. I do. I go out. I talk to my tomatoes and I water them, and and but it never leaves me. Whenever there's a that little gap, I always think about that. I always think about there's somebody right now that's struggling to breathe, Charlie, and I don't understand why our governor, our lieutenant governor, our state legislature, they're more concerned about the University of Hawaii football coach. They're more concerned about those things. They're more concerned about don't don't get me wrong. That is a important issue, but COVID should be the top issue. Keeping our kids safe, keeping our nurses safe, keeping our hospitals open, keeping our schools safe. To me, is that should be the priority. And you still get time for talk about UH. You still get time for talk about all these other stuff, but it has to be health and safety first. And this is not just a chicken pox outbreak that is limited to Oahu or Maui. No, this is a pandemic that is across the world, and we sit back and we don't say nothing. We sit back and I tell you, I'm going to promote the clubhouse, because the clubhouse and whoever's on clubhouse, if you can post up the link, I'm going to promote it again, because I really think that is a valuable asset. It's a resource. Clubhouse is free. Just download the app and jump in on the club any of those rooms. You can There's rooms on any topic you want to discuss. You can sit back and just listen. But I have learned so much from the clubhouse because of doctors from around the country that come on and share their true life stories of what's happening. And it has been so beneficial. Um, and we actually got Miskovich on and we got Akion on, but all of you are welcome to come on and participate. It's actually a fun thing and it's very educational. So anyway, I did want to plug it in. I don't have the link available, so if anybody has the link, Dana or any one of you, please post it up in the comments so people can check it out.
Hmm.
So anyway, Charles,
Yes, my brother. Well, I want to thank you for a very enlightening hour or more. We're past the hour. We're at 8:30. To the villagers and to all of our friends that joined us. You know, uh, something that is always going to be in the forefront, and I think it should be in everyone's mind. But it's again, it's up to you. Growing up, we're always told, "Hey, boy, you gotta have common sense. You want to make, you want to be the best." My dad used to always tell me this. He says, "Hey, Daddy, always enjoy putting up hollow tile walls." That's why my father was a mason. He had a sixth grade education, but he provided for our family. Never, and he never got his GED or anything like that. So it was always hard when he tried to get his contractor's license. He couldn't. He was always a subcontractor. So he always used to tell me, "Hey, boy, use common sense, okay? Because common sense is what got me through a lot of things." And I'll always remember what my dad told me. And as you grow older and as you apply that, you feel good because it comes in handy, right? But in the 21st century, right now, in this moment in time, I am so disappointed that my father's words, it's not coming through fruition because we have a government that just doesn't want to use common sense for whatever reason. I'm not saying that I hate this government. I just saying I'm disliking the way they think. And yet, you know what? I am partly to blame. There are many of us out there partly to blame because why? We elected these officials. And one valuable lesson I learned, and again, I'm going to use my common sense. Make the mistake once, you'll never see me make the mistake twice. No?
Good points. We'll have an opportunity to speak up in a few months, election time. I would encourage all of you that whoever your representatives are, whoever your senator is, whoever your council, whoever, if they didn't participate, if they didn't show up to the game, then and the game relates to the analogy I said early on. So if you came on late, this is not a game, but I used the analogy of a football game. Why would you want them in there? This year, which happens only every 10 or 20 years where they do the reapportionment, everyone is up for election at the state. Everybody. In fact, Oahu is losing one representative and it's going to go over to the Big Island, I believe. But we all have an opportunity to dictate our future. But I can promise you, come about March or April, you're going to start getting the flyers and the ads, and they're going to all be nicey, 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 and a lot of you guys will forget. But this is not a normal. This pandemic is something that happens once in a lifetime. I hope. So, and I say this because I want them to hear this. I want our representatives and senators to hear this, that if you don't participate and you don't speak up for the people, and you know what? If you disagree with what we're saying, if you disagree with what the experts saying, that's fine. But say it. Speak up. Back up the governor. Back up the lieutenant governor. Do what you want, but don't sit on the sidelines and watch. And then when all the shit falls apart, stand up and start blaming the governor, blaming the lieutenant governor when it's too late. No, now is the time. You guys are there. You guys control the policy, not the governor. So this is the strategy, though, Charlie. Mark my word. When everything goes to shit, they're all going to start coming up and they're going to blame. See, that's why they don't say nothing now. So yes, I am saying it. And yes, I want you to hear it. And yes, if you're upset, I'm sorry. You guys need to stand up. You guys need to speak up, and you guys need to do your job. And for all of the voters, when you go down that ballot, if they were absent, if they were MIA, why would you vote for them? We have an opportunity to fill that legislature with people that actually care about us in a few months. So we got to take advantage of that. Anyway, that's my rant, guys. Appreciate it. I know we went a little long. Friday night, we'll have Congressman Kahele. And that'll be an interesting show. It'll be a great show. You see, the school situation touched a nerve, and hopefully he will be able to at least influence some of our state leadership to do what's right. Monday, we have Daniel Ross from the nursing union, and that should be I would say that would be a very emotional discussion. He's exhausted as well. With that, guys, find the link for Clubhouse. Jump on. There's a post Mel and Charlie show Clubhouse. You'll see it. But go ahead and download that link. It'll bring you right into our Clubhouse, and you can join in on the discussion. All right, guys. All of you, we love you guys. God bless. Take care. Stay safe. And we'll see you guys Friday night.